Like ride today. I don't know, I just want to leave the library really quick. I just wasn't feeling well, wanted to cry, and my life partner, Feline buddy, was meowing a lot like he's restless. He wants to need to entertain him or take him somewhere, because I'm pretty sure he explored the hell out of that little bachelor's unit that we're in, and I kind of want to take a nap and relax, and he did eventually realize that's what I wanted to do, and he was nice to nap with me, but before I ended up being ready for bed, I accidentally turned or something, a reflex of something, or just moved fast, not knowing his face was there, and kind of hit him in the face, where I kind of didn't know what I hit, but it was a movement maybe of a jaw closing. So, oh man, then I feel bad. And then I start to cry, right? But I go and get him, like I open a can of tuna. I say sorry right away. He knows sorry is something I sometimes do if I make a mistake like that, and pet him, and he knows it was an accident anyways. He didn't run away. He knows I was turning around, but or that I didn't have a being mad tone or something like that, right? Yeah, which is rare, but I'm like, man, I don't want to let him down, right? Like, I already let him down by giving Coast Mountain College and Kit Katla's elites a chance, even though, man, there's so many red flags, and man, I gave so many chances to people, primates that need my services. So I'm crying because I want to give him better, but I don't feel safe there, and he's not safe there because people could cause a lot of trouble for him before I have a place to go. So I'm still looking for places to go, applying for jobs. That would be a big move, a big sacrifice in my life. And that would be hard on him, but I know he deserves better, and I deserve better than living there in that building or in this city. So part of it also is the DICE program with the RCMP. And I'm going to post the screenshots of what I wrote, and and it's legitimate. So dreams are easily broken. Too many red flags. It's hard to kind of suspend disbelief and let my heart hallucinate, and so I feel like I'm letting him down. Like, if I was just letting myself down, except I don't. I work really hard to improve my situation without selling my humanity away. But now, it's so different. The choices are challenges that I have with him. But the thing is I'm so grateful to have that cat in my life, and that's why I feel like I'm letting him down. I don't live in a safe place for him. It's almost like I feel like I should let him go outside, and I don't think he'd be happy, and I don't think it's what he'd want if he was able to understand the whole scenario, but it's smells a little bit poopy. I want to be able to be me. So anyways, what I send the RCMP after the talk is, hey, this is me, and they're like afraid I'm going to give a human rights complaint against them if they don't accept me after I send in the application. And it's like, no, if you don't accept me, it just falls under more unfair discrimination. And I said I'm far too advanced in my diversity and inclusion and equity parameters for the RCMP to be able to really honor those concepts, because I'm so far from the norm, right? And here's the proof in these attachments. And I paid a little bit of money for just a definition of lateral violence. I didn't even decide to write anything on it. And I put it in a building, and it didn't even last a whole day. And I didn't open my mailbox, but it's possible both papers I paid for just to inform people on what it is, so they can see what it is. They can see what they're doing to me, but to each other, and how it's role modeled and encouraged by the landlord. Maybe not consciously, because you need to be able to possess consciousness and conscience, and to be able to know I'm doing this, and then, I saw the definition and I just did it. And that's not okay. You need that kind of sentience and sapience. So one of the ladies that is the top 5 in the top 5 that I don't trust. Except that I was thinking about it this morning. I was thinking if cameras are installed, even if she doesn't pay for it, I would trust her more to be in charge of that than the landlord guy that we have. He's too dishonest, and I don't think she would be dishonest about those things. But she doesn't at all see her toxicity and how, the things she complains about, she also helps to manifest. Because when you maybe live an entire life, when I was learning about concepts like lateral violence, like in my training, or when I worked for Salt Lake Society, but in my training as a life skills coach, and I heard the stories of others and sharing mine, and they listened and I listened, I know it helps to do these things. So what I would have written on this lateral violence thing, if I wrote anything and signed my name, because I thought, I'll put your name, it'll stay there longer, and it's beneficial for everybody to read what it is. And I would have written, it is very sad that a life skills coach lives here, and it would have offered lessons for free that would have pretty much reduced and maybe even make go away this type of suffering that we all perpetuate. Anyways, I'm going to this community center thing expecting all sorts of other nonsense to be confirmed based on past behaviors, and it's sad. And then I'm going to the library to look for more places to go. I did just get a call for an interview tomorrow, which is likely I'd get it. I'm not sure I'd like it, but I kind of need money to escape the tyranny and the oppression and the human rights violations. Like I just told the RCMP in the email, I said I'm too poor to try to leave Canada again. But here's, for example, the letter I had written years ago to the government of New Zealand. And here's the cultural repair 2 screenshots before it got cancelled by the election that I asked the Canadian government. And there's no aggression there, there's no asking for compensation. But it says, hey, just admit who I am, and that, Homo sapiens are not really a good fit for Canadian culture. And again, we're not the worst in the world. It's just my triggers are from here, and I would have liked to help here because I know here more than anywhere. But so I see, 3 big SUVs with a lot of First Nations or Indigenous people, that if I was in a better mood and not drained from triggers of species alienation from the behaviors of the norm, I might have wanted to kind of see what they were about. They were bringing fruit and things like that. But she knocks on my door, this lady, really loud, at a time where I feel not safe here, and checking to see if there's a Bruce landlord. Check out the produce. Yeah, no, they don't get it. They don't get that they help to make me not feel safe, and then these guys I don't know are just adding to the number of people that will be there when so many of them have already been partaking in oppression against me. So for me, a social gathering is not about food. It's about partaking in healthy social behaviors and learning better ones. If there's food, great. So right now, to take care of myself, is I have to avoid that place. It doesn't feel great that there are 3 big SUVs that don't have to be there are parked in the bus stop area, right? And that could cause problems for other people using the intersection right beside it, the crosswalk, things like that. I would have to say, if I went, I'd have to say, ooh, it's risky to park there, more for other people than for you. And again, that makes me unpopular, being able to think of others, reference others, be community minded. It just piles on the oppression.